Bye, Al.
Yes.
Happy Thursday.
Yes. Happy Thursday. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. How my friend Donnie would always say on her stuff. I had to steal that. I love you.
Really? Thank you.
Yes. Oh man, welcome everybody. Welcome. I am your co-host, Professor Charles, along with my beautiful co-host.
Oh, Professor Brittany. Thanks, Charles.
Yes, indeed. And we are Dating University, where we discuss the good,
The bad
and the ugly
of all things dating and relationships. All things.
Absolutely. We want to thank y'all so much for taking a little time out this evening or whenever you are listening or watching this. We want to give a huge shout out to our Facebook watchers, our YouTube watchers, our Spotify listeners, Apple Podcast listeners. We love y'all so much. Continue to share. You guys, we are reaching more than we've ever reached before. So let's keep it pushing, man. We love y'all so much. Thank you.
So excited. Hello, everybody. Hello, Ty. Hello, Antoine. Hello, everybody.
Yes, indeed. All right. Tonight, Brittany, what are we doing tonight? What are we talking about tonight?
Here we go. Tonight is going to be a good one. Mm-hmm. Tonight, we are talking about dating from a Black woman's perspective.
Ooh.
Dating deep. From a Black woman's perspective.
Absolutely deep.
So before we dive in, let's get to know everybody on the panel. So if you can, starting with Dottie, introduce yourself, tell us your relationship status, and then give us one word to describe dating.
Hold up. What was that again? Who am I? What's my relationship status? And what was the last one?
One word to describe dating as a Black woman.
Well, I'm Dottie. Hi, I've seen you guys before. Professor Charles and Professor Brittany was on my show called the Meaning of It All podcast. And my relationship status is single and dating is trash.
Dating is trash. Wow.
Yeah, that sums it up.
All right. Okay. Let's see. We're gonna go in order of where Shamir, you're up next.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shamir. I am single, and one word to describe dating as a Black woman, I would say it's complicated.
That's something. That is something. Ania?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ania. I'm single, and dating as a Black woman is exhausting.
Wow. Heavy. That's heavy. Miss Kelly.
Good evening, everyone. Professor Brittany and Charles, thank you for having me.
You got to put some respect on my name.
I am also single, and dating is ghetto.
Ooh. Trash. Complicated, exhausting, ghetto. All right, Miss Patty.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patty. I am single, and my word to describe dating would be confusing.
Okay.
I was going to say complex, but she stated complicated, so I'm moving on.
Got it. Fellas, I need y'all to hear that. Just write what was said there. Trash. Complicated. Exhausting. Ghetto.
Oh, and it's more. It's more.
I know it's more.
You just answer one.
We gotta do better.
So I thank you all for giving us your words. So throughout the week, I asked that question, on all of my social media platforms. And so we're going to take a few minutes just to go over some of their responses. But before we dive in, I noticed something. I got nothing but responses from single Black women. I got no adjectives from people in relationships and none of my married friends. So that leads me to ask, are you not dating in your relationships or in your marriage?
That's a good question.
Probably
Because
not anymore.
for me, even though I'm a newlywed, I still date my husband. Dating doesn't stop when you get into a relationship. Dating doesn't stop when you get married. So that left me a little concerned because there are a good number of Black women on my social media platforms that are in relationships, that are engaged, that are married, and not even a word, not even anything positive. So when I go through all of these responses, it's going to seem very heavy. It's going to be very heavy. So if you're dating in a marriage or in a relationship, now please date. Dating does not stop once you enter into a committed partnership. Please. So I'm off my soapbox. Let's dive into these words. So I'll read a few, we'll talk, I'll read some more, then we'll talk, then I'll read some more, and then we'll talk. So the first 5: complicated, rough, non-existent, ghetto, and traumatizing. Can you ladies relate to any of those? And can you give us a story?
Definitely.
Which one, Patty?
All of them. Dating in today's society, it's a lot. It's really a lot. It's ghetto to the extent because the men we are dating do not know how to properly court women.
Ooh, okay.
They don't know the standard mannerisms, the standard, actions, asking you out on a proper date. Just standard courting is out the window. So it begins there. Like, if you don't know how to properly ask a woman out, it starts there and it becomes ghetto from there.
Ooh.
So yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Anybody else can relate to those first 5 words that I read off?
I mean, I started off with saying dating was ghetto. Courting, following up on Patty, courting does not exist in dating today, I think, but I still have a little bit of hope that it does, and I would like to experience what it feels like to be courted and asked out on a date and picked up and the doorbell rang or knocked on the door and the door opening and all of that good stuff that comes with dating. It seems like men say they want one thing, but then when they get it and it's presented in the package that they're looking for, it's not what they want, or they're confused about it, or they do something to sabotage themselves in that relationship on what could be a good thing.
Ooh.
Were you done, Kelly?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Oh, okay. So traumatizing. My word was complicated. I think somebody elaborated on that, but I'm gonna say traumatizing. Let me tell y'all. I met this guy. Brittany asked for a story, so I'm gonna give a story. So it was this one time, first time I met this guy off of a dating app. It was POF, and I should have went with my better judgment. I don't like dealing with Leos. He was a Leo. He had the gift of gab. He was like, you never know, you can miss out on your soulmate, with that sign stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just give it a try. Another lesson I learned on the first date: don't let nobody pick me up. I'll meet you there. I'll drive my own car. So we got to the movie theater. This is when the new movie theater opened up out security. They had the bar. So, they had the police out there, the real police, not security, but the real police. So, the movies now assign seats. So it was so simple. He wanted to sit anywhere. I wanted to sit in assigned seats. And I'm just like, listen, the attitude that I have, I'm not ready. I don't want nobody to come up in the middle of the show or they're late and ask us to move because we're in their seats. It's a new movie theater. It's probably going to be packed. So let's just find a seat. So it just was a long drawn out thing. He didn't want to sit in the right seat. So I was like, I'm going to go back out there and see if I can find our seats so I can sit in them. It went left. We started fighting in the movie theater on the first date. He throwing popcorn at me. I'm throwing soda on him.
Whoa.
No pretzels on me. I tried to take the fire. No, I did take the fire extinguisher off the wall. I tried to bust him upside his head, y'all.
Woo.
But through the grace of God, it wasn't meant because I probably would have been the one going to jail that night. So I just went to the police. He had to take me home because the date had went wherever he had went. So it just went left. So I did learn valuable lessons from it because, it could have been worse. I could have been kidnapped, anything. You know what I mean? So ladies, I think that's very important on a first date, especially if you're meeting somebody off at the app. Meet them there. Just meet them there, the first couple times. But that was one of my traumatizing dating stories.
Oh, traumatizing for real. That was the first date?
Yeah. The first.
So, I ask questions. How was the conversation leading up to that date? Was it good?
It was one of those, I know some of y'all know how the dating apps work. So, some stuff goes fast. So it was all in one day, but we were talking the whole day. So we were talking about signs. We had great conversation. That's what made me feel like, okay, he's showing me a little different. I really don't like Leos, but I'm a set it to the side, and I'm gonna just do it. And I did it. And I'm glad that I didn't meet him he didn't meet me at my house. I had parked at my cousin's house and he had met me there and we rode together. But so I felt good about it at first, but then it went left.
Left ain't the
Can I
word.
piggyback off of something that Shamir said real quick?
That's
go
off
ahead,
the map.
Yeah, go ahead, Patty.
So I have this thing with dating because of situations I've been in similar to what she's describing. I will not go on a date with you until after 2 weeks of talking.
Okay.
Minimum. Like I will not go on a first date with you until I've talked to you for about 2 weeks. You're not coming to my house. And it's because it's dangerous out here. We don't know the men that we're talking to at this date. A lot of times we are meeting people online and they can be whoever they want to be online. That's the crazy thing about it. They can be whoever they want online. So I have like this. I don't go on a date at all until about 2 weeks after talking to you. You're not coming to my house. And that's another thing I think as women, that's very like the going back to the courting. Men don't want to take you out there. Just, hey, you want to come by my house? Can I come by your house? And I've had a guy that like press, try to come to my house. And I was like, look,
yes.
I'm not comfortable with it. I don't know you. You could be anybody. Oh, so you don't trust me? I don't know you to trust you. You could come to my house and I'm a single woman living by myself. Who would know if anything happened to me? And he literally got mad and stopped talking to me because I was like, look, if you don't want to take me out somewhere, we're not going to meet up. So I think as women, we have to set certain walls in place when dating. To protect ourselves, and that in turn doesn't lead to what we expect out of the actual dating world.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really, really hard as a woman to date in 2021 where like a lot of people meet on dating apps, and for women versus men, like men don't have the same concerns with their safety. 9 times out of 10, a woman's not going to be able to overpower you, even though Shamir held it down at the movie theater, clearly. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that men have to concern themselves with. And so for us, it gets tricky of like, when is the right time to meet somebody? You don't want to wait too long. And men are like, you'll be on apps and after a day or 2 days or whatever, men are trying to meet up and you just really don't know. So I think the trauma comes in where every woman probably has a personal story, but everyone's also heard of other stories from other women and things like that. So it's hard to really like navigate that space of online dating. Even people that you meet, out and about, like we still have those same, concerns about our safety.
Yeah. And even looking at the word non-existent, I can remember going to Bucknell. That's a predominantly white school. And my dating life at Bucknell, had I not had a Black boyfriend, would have been non-existent. Um, I can mix in non-existent and traumatizing in the same story. So I'm a freshman, and you're coming into your hormones as a college freshman. You're being exposed to frat parties and sex and kissing and just intimacy at a college level. And so I'm hearing all these stories from my friends, like, oh, I'm hooking up with so and so, I'm going on a date with so and so, and here I am, just looking around left and right, not getting attention from the Black men on campus because I wouldn't quote unquote give it up like some of my non-Black counterparts. And there was a frat party that Friday. And I remember there was a guy in my bio class, and he had gotten extremely drunk. And he was telling me in my ear, like, oh, you're so sexy. I've always had a crush on you. You're so beautiful. I'm just really, really shy. And I'm just like, okay, like, that's cool. Nothing happened that night. But I'm thinking because we're in bio class together Monday, we can get there early or have a conversation after. And y'all, when I got to that class Monday, he would not even look at me. Wouldn't even look at me. Class was over. I walked over to try to talk to him. He talked to other people, and then he left. And when I say rejected, I felt rejected. I felt ugly. I felt invisible. Dating as a Black woman, whether people want to believe it or not, is different. Our standards of beauty are different. Our expectations of how to act, how to look, how to dress is different. It's different. And you can't deny that. Things that we have to accept, things that we have to quote unquote tolerate, it falls on Black women. So hopefully by the end of this show, you can be enlightened as to how we date, what we go through, and this will open healthy dialogue of how we can try to make things better.
Now, I just want to piggyback off everything that everyone said. Now, I'm with Kelly, where you want the guy to come and court you. You want him to come and pick you up. But with everybody else and what they said, you can't trust them enough to do that because, one, we're single. We don't want them to know where we live at. We don't have that safe space where we feel safe enough to be able to have them to come to our home because of how things go, because of how they treat us. It's the standards have just switched. These guys want that whole woman that, oh, I want to court you, but like we've all said, they don't even know how to do it anymore. They don't. They just really do not. They want you to come over to the house and chill. That's not courting. Me coming over your house to chill with you is not you courting me. That's me coming over your house because you want to petition. Maybe smash. Maybe it's some guys that just really want to be home and enjoy their space. But again, we don't know because you have the 1 in like 10 that may actually be like, yo, I really just want you to come over my house. I like to be home because I'm a homebody, but I don't want to invite anyone to my home because I don't trust you. But I don't want to come and sit at your home because I could have sat in my home. That's how I look at it. I want to go out. I want to enjoy. And I want to get to know you. And I'm totally with, I think that was Patty that said it, that I'm not going out with you unless I talk to you for 2 weeks because I do not know who you are and I don't want you in my space just because I'm talking to you online or I'm talking to you over the phone. I really don't know who you are. I really don't. But I'm with Kelly. I really want someone to court me, to come and get me. But again, I'm the person that you be like, let's go out. I'll meet you there. I've had people ask to say, hey, can I come pick you up? No, absolutely not. I will meet you there. And I have had some guys that was offended by that. But if you really want to go out with me, you'll meet me there. Because we have to protect ourselves. We have to be safe. And that's the first thing right there. We don't feel safe enough for these guys to come and get us to really be courted.
Facts. And I was
That's
like Shamia. I was like Shamia. I had an incident where I talked to someone that entire day and I felt so comfortable and I felt like we were building some rapport that I did want to see him that day. But I also learned that talking on an app is different than talking on the phone. Talking on the phone is then different from meeting in person. Meeting in person for the first date will also be different than being with that same person for 3 months. Because I've had men make it past the app, make it past the conversation on the phone, make it past the first date. And then by week 2, month 1, now I'm starting to see who you really are. I'm starting to see you crack at the seams. And now the real you is coming out. So yeah.
Yeah, and like with my situation, it was like it went from the app to talking, and that's why I was like, dang, I'm intrigued. Like the conversation is really good on the phone, so let's go to the movies. And he was courting. He wanted to come pick me up, so that's what got me. He wanted to come pick me up. He opened the door. He was a real gentleman, girl. Until I guess we're alpha females too nowadays, and that's another reason why I feel like the dating is the way it is, because we don't have no choice but to be so strong and take care of everything that we have to take care of, that by the time we do get a guy that may be onto something, we mess it up. That's for me anyway. I know I'm an alpha female, and I know that I can mess up a good thing because of my strength and everything that I had to endure on my own. And it's something going around now that's saying about fathers are obligated, mothers are obligated, and fathers are I don't know if y'all seen it yet. I forget what the other word was, but I think that's true.
Or like optional almost.
Optional, maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like it falls on the women, like Brittany was saying, that we have to deal with things like raising men that didn't take care of their childhood traumas and stuff like that. And we see the potential in these men, and we like, damn, I got a good one, but he got all this baggage. And then it starts to tearing us down because we're trying to build them up. And and then that's where that 6 months, the 3 to 6 months line comes from, where it's like, okay, it was going good, and now I see the baggage, and I thought I could help him because I do see the potential, but it's breaking me down, and now I got to let go. So it's kind of like a revolving door.
I want to piggyback off of something that Shamir said. I think so many times as women, we want to pick up and we see the potential in men when we first started dating them, that it's like, we see the potential. I want to help him. I want to build him. I want to help him grow. We can't do that as women, because the number one thing is if I'm in a relationship with you, if I got to build you, if I got to grow you, then I'm the leader. You're not being a man. I want a man that's going to lead me, and I can be feminine. I can be a woman. You get what I'm saying? If I've got to take that role as the man, am I really respecting you? Am I really, allowing you to lead? Because if you're leading and you're not leading the right way, and I have to keep building you up or telling you like, hey, that's not the right way to do this. You don't want to do that. Or, hey, you've got some childhood trauma you need to focus on. You can effectively lead me as a man.
Talk about it.
So now that's a turn off on itself. That's a turn off on itself. Like, you're not being consistent. You're not, you're not courting. You're not reaching out. You're not checking on me. You drop me off at my house and then you pull out before I even make it to my door, or we walk out of a restaurant. You're not checking to see if I get in my car. Like, you're not leading. So then if I get in a relationship with you, then how do you expect me to be feminine? How do you expect me to be a woman when from the time that we were dating up until this point, I've been the leader? And I think that's the reality of that.
Oof. Patty, speak on it, because I was actually in a relationship like that where
I said a whole lot.
I was like, that's okay, but you know what? And I was in a relationship where the guy wanted to be the leader, but I was the stronger one. I was the one who was leading, and he wanted me to dim my light to kind of cater to him. He wanted that come home. He had mommy issues. Let's just put it out there. He had mommy issues, and he wanted me to be the one to be in the house cooking and cleaning, but I had the better job. He wanted me to be in the house, but then you lost your job. So then you want me to have my job, come cater to you, and you're sitting home on the couch doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely not, sir. And you want to be able to lead me. Oh, it ended very, very badly
So,
because
Daddy, was he a self-proclaimed alpha male?
yes.
Here we go.
Yes,
Here we go.
he just knew he was everything. And then just like I was reading a chat, you fall in love or you try to see the potential in somebody, but you really can't, because he has great potential to be a wonderful person. I will not knock that. I will continue to give him that. But as a man in a relationship, you don't have it. You don't. You don't at all. Like, and the next person that he's with, Lord help her, unless that's what she wants to do, unless that's what she wants to be, a mom to a man child, because that just wasn't for me. And it ended really badly because I just would not submit. And guys want you to submit. I actually got into it with this guy today online about that. He said that the American traditions is that the man works. He wants a woman that's not going to clean it. They say clean his clothes, wash the dishes, and make dinner for him. I said, if that's an American tradition, then the women back then that did that, they didn't have jobs. So are you going to settle for that and let her be a stay-at-home woman? He said nothing. I said, I know. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing.
You bring up a good point.
Oh, sorry. Now I was gonna say that's the other thing when it comes to dating as a Black woman specifically. I think that gender roles, I feel like we're kind of asked to do away with them in some respects, where you see so many Black women holding down their households financially, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, doing a lot of labor within the home, and yet, the partner may not necessarily be carrying that same weight. And to be honest, I'm not very traditional when it comes to gender roles, but I think that everyone has to play a part. And I think there's some men that want the tradition and they don't have the resume to go along with that. They don't have the credentials to go along with that. But even for me, someone that isn't so tied to those traditional gender roles, I still don't feel like there are a lot of people even willing to be in partnership with women. So I feel like that has been, like, I had a situation with someone that I dated off and on for a really long time, and similar to what Dottie was saying, he he was like, I need to be the leader of the house and I need to be the man, and he wants to beat his chest and like want me to like cook and clean. And I'm not that type of, I love to cook. People that know me know that. I love all the, like, fine, I can care for people and be very soft and tender in that way, but like having that be the expectation, this man he was very like unstable, all over the place. I'm like, you don't have the credentials, like I said, to even ask that of someone based on just where you are in your life right now. Like, you can't come in and say, a woman can't lead me to do anything. I'm way more stable than you are and have been since we started dating years ago. So like, why does that role automatically get assigned to you because you're a man? That doesn't automatically qualify you to lead. And I think men need to like take heed of that, but also like maybe lean into that and understand that there are going to be aspects that maybe they can't, they're not prepared to do, but feel like that's a benchmark that maybe they can meet, or, I don't know, just make an effort to get to that point. But I think just automatically assuming that as the man, they have to take that role when you're just not there.
Yeah, I agree, because with gender roles, like, as for example, me, I have 2 sons. So I teach they clean toilets, they do dishes, they wash clothes, they mop floors, because before you even become committed to be with a spouse, you have to live by yourself. So what are you doing when you're living by yourself? Who is there to clean, cook, and take care of your household? So if you have your own and you come into a relationship, you still have to do those. It's 50-50. Like, we got to meet each other halfway. It's teamwork. And then I look at it like, God forbid if anything ever happens bad to someone. But if you're in a marriage and say something happens to the wife, she can't cook, she can't clean, who's going to take care of the kids? So I feel like it's very important for women to know how to do certain things, like the turn off valve for the water. What if the water heater starts leaking? I didn't know where the water heater valve was. But these things I got to learn, because as a single woman, and even if I do get married, well, when, because I'm going to speak it into existence, you know, that, you know, I can be able, if my husband is on his sick bed or something, you know, it may be something that a man should do, but I want to be able to know how to do it as well. And then one last thing I want to say is about complicated. I don't want to put this all on the men, because I know me right now, well, not right now, but I know I'm learning a lot about myself, and the person that I am seeing and talking to helps me realize some things that I need to work on with myself to even be in a relationship. So sometimes I make it complicated. So it's not always the men. Like, I have a lot of childhood trauma that I went through that I'm seeking therapy and doing everything that I need to do. But you feel what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you have to take ownership. You have to take accountability as well. Because I know I'd make things in a dating scene more complicated than what it is. And sometimes I push people away. Like, I've had good men. I probably could have been married. But because of me and things that I need to work on with myself, I'm not going to put it all on my men. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yes,
but they do need to do better. They definitely do need to do better.
Yeah. I mean, Shamir, you bring
I appreciate that. I appreciate that honesty. Right there. I'm not going to monopolize anything on anything, because I've heard a lot about what you guys have been saying, and it's a lot of it is on us as men. Like, we have to be better. We can't expect our women to be better if we're not better. We have to, you know, set the tone. And I said this to somebody before. I was like, we set the tone as men, and you know, it's like heterosexual relationships. Like, we set the tone as men for the relationship. So that means, you know, whatever we give women, you guys multiply. So if we give y'all the space and the freedom and the security and the love and the understanding and the you know, all these other positive things, we're gonna get that back like tenfold. So all of these, like, I keep hearing like the self-proclaimed alpha male, or the guy who's saying like, oh, he believes in traditional gender roles or what have you. Like, that shit is out the window. Like, you have to be established as yourself as a man. You know what I'm saying? A woman is not going to just submit to, you know, just because you say so. Like, that's just not how they work. Like, that worked back in 1945, 1950, where women were like suppressed and they really couldn't get where they wanted to go, you know, as far as like professional wise, career wise, you know, on their own business wise, you know, that sort of thing. These women now, I mean, y'all guys have got more degrees than I got on my finger. You know what I'm saying?
But even with the degrees, Charles, this goes into a new point of dating being unfair. Yeah, it's nice that we have degrees, and this is something that Black women we celebrate. I think it is such an accomplishment that we are traveling away from that tradition that we're supposed to be bound to the home and not be educated and not, you know, uplift ourselves. But that same education that I celebrated is what was held against me by a lot of people that I dated. And that's why dating is unfair. As a Black woman, the things that I take pride in are things that men thought were intimidating. I'm educated. You're too smart for me. You have a smart mouth. So what happens is, going back to Shamir, talking about accountability, I have no problem being accountable. But also, when I know who I am, there are men that will gaslight me to question myself. And that's the part about being unfair. So if I'm very vociferous, I talk a lot. I talk about things that I talk about things that I like. I talk about things that I dislike. Things that I am well versed in, I will speak up about. But when I do that with a man that I'm dating, I'm told, okay, now you talk too much. You know, maybe you shouldn't say so much. And that makes me question myself. Am I talking too much? Maybe I shouldn't speak out on things that bother me. Maybe I should hold stuff in just to not rock the boat. Well, you know what? Maybe you're too emotional. Am I too emotional? Maybe I should learn to get over some stuff. So being held accountable and then people forcing me into my own accountability are two different things, which was why dating was so unfair to me. I take pride in knowing about things. I take pride in being able to do things on my own. I take pride in not having to depend on a man for X, Y, and Z. I had a man tell me the reason why I don't want to date you is because you don't need me.
Mm-hmm.
You want to pay for everything. You're not asking me for anything. But then on the flip side, if I ask, hey, I really like this purse. Okay, now you're high maintenance. Now you're a gold digger.
Mhm.
So the complexity left me so confused to the
Yeah.
point, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't talk at all. But who wants to be in a relationship where you don't talk?
Mhm.
That's not fair. Like I want to enter into a relationship and I want to enter into dating being my authentic self.
Right.
I don't want to dumb myself down for anybody. If I'm too big for you, then date somebody else.
And
If being
you're right.
talking about something is too much, then why don't you go date someone who can talk? Date a blow up doll.
That's one of those red flags, though, with all
That's
those,
what.
don't do this, don't do this, you're doing too much, because that's low key them trying to change you to be who they want you to
Exactly.
be.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's a red
Exactly.
flag.
Amen.
Like how many of you have been
But
told
I do want to
if you
say
act
something
right?
real quick.
Go ahead. Real fast. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Oh, so
Patty.
I was just gonna say, as somebody that does look for somebody that is, I look for gender roles in a relationship. I do firmly agree and support gender roles in a relationship, and it's not to be. It's got to be specifically like I got to do this, this, and this. But as a man, it's certain things as far as gender roles that I expect from you as a man. I tell everybody I date off gate, it's one thing my daddy taught me. If a man can't do for you like I do for you, you don't need him. And I hold that to the core. And I say that because my parents have raised me and have instilled in me in things that I don't need a man. I could change my oil. I could change my tire.
Mhm.
I could take care of yard work. But if you're not coming in my life to alleviate those things, and I'm cooking and I'm cleaning and I'm doing all these female gender roles that I'm doing, then what are you here for? Because I'm still having to go take my car to get the oil changed. I'm still taking my car to get tires rotated and aligned.
Mhm.
You're not doing yard
And
work. I still got to hire somebody to do yard work. And it's not to say that you have to physically do it yourself, but that should be something off my plate. I shouldn't have to get in my car and you've been in my car all week and you see my check engine light on and you not once say, hey babe, take my car today. I'm taking your car to get it serviced.
Mhm. I agree.
That's things to me
I
in
agree.
gender
It's
roles, not specifically speaking about just the household, but certain things. If I am coming home and I'm cooking and I'm cleaning and your clothes are cleaned, I expect the yard to be cut. I expect my car to be maintained. I expect certain things as a man for you to do so that I'm not getting my hands dirty doing it. But
now
these men
I
out
see
here,
that.
and I say this with the utmost respect. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. Go finish the thought.
Oh, so I say this with utmost respect, but I think the problem that women are facing, or Black women specifically are facing in the dating world, is a lot of these men do not have man role models to teach them what it is to be a man. They are going based off of the single moms that are raising them, and they're not knowing what it means to be a man to a woman. That's just what we're dealing with in today's dating society as Black women. You got a lot of bitter moms raising children, raising these men. You got a single mom that do it all by themselves, so that now this boy that watched his mom do it all by herself is coming into a relationship thinking that is normal for a woman to do it all by herself. And that is the reality we face.
I mean, the sad reality.
That was the end. I'm sorry, Charles.
Yeah, the sad reality of it is, and we got to keep it real. I grew increasingly bitter when I was told my standards were too high. Black women dating can't have standards, apparently. We're supposed to take whatever is out here. So if he doesn't have a car, lives at home with his parents, is unemployed, we're supposed to be there to nurture and build him up to a place of stability. That's our job. We're supposed to be that way. And if we
I
if
am
we
not
opt,
the builder.
yeah,
I am not
if we opt not to help, then we're not being the strong Black women that we are supposed to be for our kings. So I went to Bucknell again. I got to witness love starting from when they first met to when they got married. And I had a girl tell me, I'm wealthy, so I want to marry wealthy. So I'm going to date people that have this major, that drive this kind of car, that have these credentials, that have a good credit score. And I said, that makes a lot of sense. So when I took this stuff back home and I started my dating career and I start asking these same questions of where do you live? Do you have a car? It's like, well, you're asking too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I don't have a car, then what? Like, you should pick me up. If I don't have money, I don't have a job, you should help me. Your job is to help me.
It's the mediocrity for me. Like, I don't know where, when, or how it went left, but it did. And you know, it's the man-child syndrome has just exacerbated throughout the whole dating pool. And I get so irritated of seeing, you know, these men cry and cry about not having a quote unquote woman, you know, to hold them down. But where's your own accountability? Where's your own, like, I gotta pull my own bootstraps up. I gotta make sure that, you know what I'm saying, when I step to this woman who I see as the pinnacle, even if you ain't even got to go to the whole pinnacle, even if it's somebody that you just want to date or that you want to get to know, you got to come with something other than just like, hey, I can have sex good, or I look good, or I have.
No, they're not even doing that. So that's
the thing that's bothering me so much. I mean, like, where did you get the audacity? How much did it cost? Because you obviously can't afford to do what you're doing.
Yeah,
but
we got the same question, Charles. We got the same question.
You found enough ducats in your pocket to go buy the audacity to come off and talk to these women like everything is what you want it to be, when you want it to be, how you want it to be it. And it boggles my mind because, you know, and it's like, you can't be so obtuse about the situation of like, well, that's not me. That's I've never done no woman like that. Bullshit. Like, we all have. Like, but at the same time, you can't dismiss. We have 5 women on this damn screen right now that are saying the exact same thing. How are we not doing better? How are we not coming to the conclusion of, you know what? I have been an ass. I have been lazy. I have been non-accountable about my actions. I have been misogynistic. I have been these wild ideas of what gender roles are and what relationships are supposed to be.
I think honestly, we are at an impasse with dating. I had dinner with some girlfriends last week. They, you know, were talking about their woes with dating. I met up with a girlfriend on Tuesday. She was talking about her woes with dating, whether it's somebody not being honest about their relationship status. Oh, surprise, I'm, you know, living with someone, or I'm actually married, or, you know, whether it is you know, all the things that you were saying, not being accountable, like, I really feel like we're at an impasse to where women don't want to date. We're not we are so turned off from the experience of meeting men that aren't about anything, that are inconsistent, that are emotionally unavailable. Because I think that's another thing that we run into a lot, especially on dating apps. Men like will end a relationship, and the first thing they do, instead of like, you know, talking with their friends or, you know, a therapist about the breakup, the situation, they go and create an account and, you know, want to bring all their issues to the next person instead of really delving into what went wrong in the relationship and what happened and how to move forward in a healthier way.
Oh my gosh.
So I think the conclusion that I came up with when I was talking to my girlfriend was like, no one's having fun. Well, really the women aren't. We aren't having fun. And like, whenever I ask a woman how dating is going, it's an eye roll.
Mm-hmm.
It's never anything positive. And I think that speaks a lot to the experience that Black women are having. And I don't know how we get over this because, yeah, I think we've evolved into different spaces. I think people put a lot on women, like, y'all are just choosing wrong. So everybody is. So like all the women that I know.
Because Ania, you hitting because I saw this comment and I was like, no, you know I need to address this.
Yeah,
I need to address this shit.
I was on like a clubhouse room like months ago, and so there were literally women from all over the country. So it's not like, well, that's just your area. You live in Atlanta. It's this 20-to-1 ratio, which is also not true. But that's another day, and I'm not even going to go there. But there were literally women from all over the map, and none of the women were having a positive dating experience. Us as women have probably all had dating horror stories, had terrible things happen to us, felt unsafe or uncomfortable with the man. I don't think as many men have such drastic experiences when it comes to dating, to be honest.
Because we don't.
You don't. And so there is a definite disconnect that I think men need to address rather than immediately pushing it onto women and say, well, that's just who you're picking. Instead of understanding that this is an issue that is widespread, and it's not just, your homegirl, she keep going after the ain't shit guy or whatever. Yes, that happens. Yes, there's accountability. Like Samir said, everyone has issues. And just because you enter in a relationship doesn't mean you have suddenly resolved all of your personal issues and that it's not a merit-based thing to be in a relationship. Oh, here's the gold star for, completing, what you're supposed to do as an adult, and now you get awarded with a relationship. It doesn't work that way. No one is going to be perfect. No one's going to be perfect, but the point is that, clearly there's a lot of issues that we are seeing that instead of people, specifically men, really addressing and trying to understand and listening, they want to put it back to us. So that's why I said we're at an impasse.
Can we talk about, though, why? I feel like some women do mess it. We need to. It was a comment earlier, and then there was another comment that just was like, some of the women are messing it up for the women, because when you're dating, I feel like you're dating for a cause. So I feel like people need to be honest. So if you're just trying to, and I don't know, are we cussing on this live? Or okay? So if you want to,
know us long enough.
If y'all just want to fuck, I feel like we need to be honest with ourselves first, and then we are able to let people in on our honesty and what we expect. And if I just want to fuck you and it may turn into something, then that's different. Then you have guys that don't have to court women to take them out, to waste money, to waste dating, to waste time, because a woman just wants the clout, because the man might be popular or because he has a good career. So we do have to, the men are getting sick of courting with the real women because they do have women out here that are using them. And so they don't want to be out here.
You know what, Shamir? I hear that. But when I hear about these men getting used, it's so blatantly obvious that these women don't like these men that I can do nothing but call them stupid. For example, I had a guy say, we talked on the phone, and she was always quiet. She only had 2 or 3 words to say to me. She don't
like you, bro.
She only mentioned, going on a date when I mentioned that I wanted to go to Fogo de Chao or somewhere expensive. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, clearly she's only going out with you for your money.
Money.
So what happened when you went to Fogo? He's like, you didn't have a lot to say. I was like, but she stayed throughout the meal, didn't she? She stayed to see you pay for that check, didn't she? So what happened when you swiped that card? Oh, she friend zoned me. Ah, really? You say it ain't so.
You put yourself in that position, bro.
I'm utterly shocked and amazed.
Right, really? Why are you chasing me?
I can't feel badly for you, son. You played yourself in that one. I pick up on social cues. If I text a man and he don't text me back, I'm not begging for your words. Next. It's that simple.
I'm agree with Shamir, how they said that, you get the guy that's popular. He's used to being used, and you get with a good woman that actually wants to be around you, and now you don't even know how to handle the situation.
Right.
I'm kind of in that situation now. I have a guy that he's in this different type of category, if you want to say, with his friends and the company that he keeps. So the women that likes to be around him are the ones that's looking for a come up or looking for the next big guy that may have somebody that they can possibly marry into. So with me, I'm not looking at you for that. I like you for who you are, but you're so used to these people using you that you're not even seeing that I'm being genuine. So it kind of like turns me off because it's like, hey, pick up. Hey, I like you. Do I have to, how much do I have to like write it in the sky? Like, I like you. I don't care what you have because actually I have almost the same. You got me beat now. You got a little bit more money than me, but I like you for who you are.
Sure.
I have my own place. You have your own place. You have your cars. I have my car. Like, it's like I don't want anything from you, but you're missing that because you're so used to these people using you.
Sure.
And now I know he knows how to court. I know he knows how to do certain things, but it's like, bro, is it really just not clicking in your head that I am really listening and talking and wanting to be around you? But now because you're being stupid, you're going to miss out.
Oh, that's what it was. It was somebody in the comment that had said that they are accepting it. So some of the men, some of the women are accepting those men that are giving mediocre, actions. So when
That's what I was just about to say.
Relationship, when they go on to the next relationship, they're thinking that they can do that same mediocre behavior with that woman. And then once that woman, say it's me, I start to set my boundaries and what I expect, and then goes back to Brittany, oh, I have high standards, or I'm too bougie, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like that does have a lot to do with it. Still women, pacifying these niggas.
But here's the thing.
Right.
But where does that even derive from, though?
Thing with that.
There's a why. We have to look at the why.
I want to touch on that real quick.
Go ahead, Patty. Then
I think for women, we have this habit of going into dating. I mean, actually just starting talking to a guy with expectations of what we expect that man to be and what we expect that man to do. And this is where the issue for me, my understanding lies, is when you go into meeting a guy or dating a guy with expectations of who he's going to be, and he don't meet those expectations, then we're disappointed. Then we're upset. Then we're hurt. Because we had in our mind who he was going to be when we went on that first date.
Mm-hmm.
We thought he was going to check off every single box because we talked to him for a week or two and he was sounding good and everything seemed great. So then we go to a date and he show us his real self, and now we're disappointed. And now we're upset. And now we are setting these standards and these boundaries for this man that he's like, well, this is just who I am. So it's a two-way streak with that. And this is where it goes back to the accountability. Me personally, with dating, I don't go into any first dating with expectations. I want you to show me who you are. Wow. I don't go in with no expectations of who you are. And that's because great. I'm not about to get disappointed or upset when you show me who you are.
Right. I agree.
And I get it.
I believe that.
But women, we have this habit.
Everybody has expectations, so I think that's a normal thing.
He's gonna, pay for
I get the expectations. I get that. I get having expectations because everybody wants, the house in the hill, the castle, all that. I get that, but you have to treat people exactly for who they are. Like Patty was saying, it's like I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you up, in no kind of.
To my standards,
I'm not saying put someone standards. I'm not saying put someone on a pedestal.
I feel like expectations should be more towards like after you've dated for a little bit. Then
okay, let me give you the story and let you know.
You can have those expectations.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so the beginning, I said the beginning of the year when like COVID was still like keeping people in lockdown and all that stuff. I met someone online. I think this was like January, and we talked for a bit on the phone. He seemed cool. There were still some things I had reservations about, but overall, I was like, okay, he seems like a cool guy. And he kept being like, hey, I want to meet you in person, all this stuff, because we would video chat all the time. Fine. And I know eventually, like, it has to move offline at some point. It has to move to in person. But at the time, literally nothing was open and things like that. So I was like, well, if we both get COVID tested and make sure that we're good, you know, I would be cool. You coming over here, we could just kick it or whatever. He shows up to hang out. The plan was just like to watch a movie, hang out, whatever, one like Friday after work. So he comes over, and this is a Friday evening. Like I said, he never said, "Oh, hey, what are your plans for dinner? Should we order something? Whatever." Nothing. Just shows up. So I ordered my own food. And then when he came, he was like, "Oh, I already ate." I'm like, "All right, bet. I'm gonna just eat my food. We could just watch this movie, whatever. Fine."
Wait, what? Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm not.
Time out. We need to break this down. We got to break that down. We got to break that down.
What do we? Yeah.
What?
So I'm already like, this is technically like a first date, even though we're not going to a physical restaurant or something like that. So I would assume that as a man, you would at least be like, "Hey, you hungry?" Did not come over like, "Well, I already ate, so cool." I make him a drink. I'm being hospitable, all this stuff. He had no problem gobbling up my alcohol. Didn't bring anything. I feel like even if you're not going to be like, "Okay, cool, let me bring some food over or order something with you," let me at least bring a bottle of wine. There's literally like a wine store 10 feet from where I live. So I'm like, okay, another fail. Like, you didn't ask me if I want anything to eat. You didn't bring anything over to contribute to the evening, to the cause. I'm turned off. So at this point, we watched the movie. After that, I was just like, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? And the next day, I sent him a message and I was just like, "Hey, I'm cool, basically." I said it nicer than that. I didn't really go into the why. And one of my friends was like, "Well, maybe, that's an etiquette thing. And maybe he just doesn't know." I'm like, I get that he may not know, but that's not the type of man that I want either. And so it's not really my responsibility to go and go over that with him and review that. And like somebody said earlier, just try to raise these men. It's just like I said, it's a date. So why have you brought nothing? Why are you showing up with yourself? And that's it.
I get your point. I totally get your point. I 100% get your point.
So I feel like, yes, I had a basic expectation that you would do like a decent thing. And I think there's still room for us to have standards and boundaries in dating. You don't have to go in there like, "Oh, he's gonna, buy me the most expensive thing on the menu, and he's gonna hold every door, and he's gonna do this, that, and the other." It doesn't have to be so grandiose, but there's still certain standards that somebody needs to adhere to. And when they don't, it's time for you to roll out. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But I think there's a difference in standards and expectations.
I'm not debating that, because expectations and standards are two different things, in my opinion.
Two different things. That's, yep. Mm-hmm.
So your standards are,
Well, break down the difference for me. I want Patty to break it down, because I'm trying to get clarity on what she was saying.
Okay, so for me, I have standards. Like, I'm not going to allow a man, and I'll give you a story very similar to yours. I just recently went on a date, and he asked me out last minute. A standard of mine is, you don't ask me out last minute, plan it in advance. That's a standard of mine. Okay, so, but he asked me out last minute. I agreed to go. I told him, "Well, we can meet up for drinks and dinner." I was getting off of work. He said, "That's fine, cool." We get to the bar, look around at the menu. He's not hungry. Okay, I'm not hungry. We can get a drink. I don't drink. Then why did we come here?
What the hell are we even doing here?
Expectations is where I'm expecting him to open doors, where I'm expecting him to take a bill, where I'm expecting him to do certain things that I deem a man should do on a date. My standards are that he should do those things. But do I go into a relationship expecting those things? I don't. My standard is he should do those things, and I want him to do those things, but I don't go in there looking for those things, because that's not what I'm expecting. I'm expecting him to show me who he is.
Right or wrong,
and once he shows me who he is, then I can set it up to a standard of, this is what I can expect from him, and this is where I set my standards. Because if he did open the door,
But can I
if
ask
he
you
did
something,
all of this,
Patty?
he met my standards. I'm sorry, yes.
So with your standard that you don't 10 minutes before or whatever the case may be, why did you accept that date and not set the standard then? You get what I'm saying? Like,
So,
if that's your regular standard, you're not
because I
setting
have
the
been
standard
told
for him.
the standard is for myself, it's not for him. That's what I'm saying. The standard, I think sometimes as women, we set our standard and our expectations on these men. And that's the place where we can't really set our standards on them because they don't know what our standards are. They don't know what our expectations are.
Correct.
If we're going on a first date, you don't know my standards. You don't know my expectations. You don't know none of that. Now, what I did do is when he did ask me out last minute, I let it be known, hey, typically, I don't do last minute planning dates. I don't do it. That's not typically what I go for. However, we've been talking for 3-4 weeks now. You've got some availability. I've got some availability after work. I would love to meet up with you. So I've kind of set my standard to him so he knows going forward, you can't do this last minute thing with me. I'm not going to accept
Just
that.
making sure, like, you
But
respect.
when I went to the date, so they know what to expect. So now he knows that standard when it comes to taking me out on a date. But when I went on the date, I didn't have expectations of he's going to open the door and he's going to take the bill. I told my homegirl, I was like, he didn't pay for anything because literally all I ordered was a water. We didn't order food. We didn't order drinks. And in the midst of us having a conversation, and I was like, oh, well, do you want to go somewhere else? Would you like to try something else? No, I don't really know this area like that. Do you want to come back to my house and smoke and drink?
No,
I don't.
It was a waste of goddamn time.
AKA broke as hell. He ain't had no money.
I don't. And I quit. And it was so sad because the waitress came over to take our order. And I was like, hey, I'm not filling the menu. And I think this night is over. And she knew what it was. She was like, okay, I'll don't worry about the bill. He had a Coke, I think, and I had a water. She was like, don't worry about it. Y'all have a great night. And I walked to my car. The next day when he reached out to me, I did explain to him, look, we went on a date that you were not prepared for. You didn't want to drink. You don't drink. You didn't want to eat. When I gave you the option to choose somewhere else for us to go, you had no idea where else you wanted to go. That is not proper planning for me, and I do not accept that.
And that right there for me is where us men have to be more prepared than, I mean,
it sounded like common sense though.
It
like,
does.
that's why it's just like, I'm not gonna,
a lot of these men don't have it.
Common sense
and I'm
not
not gonna entertain it.
Common
it's
sense
like,
is not
okay.
common.
And I get that, and you have every right to dismiss any dude you feel as though they don't meet up to that
don't meet
standard.
your standards.
I get that 1,000%, absolutely. But my thing is, in Patty's case, that was not her issue. That was more his issue than anything else. Like she said, he came to a date unprepared. There was nothing planned. There was no contingencies. There was no backup plan. There was. I mean, he didn't have a plan to begin with. Like he made a date with somebody last minute, which is disrespectful because who the hell knows if you ain't got no plans, you got kids, you got family, you got stuff you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And then you come with nothing. Like you bring nothing. Like you don't communicate during the date. You're not engaging. Like I don't understand. Like that onus is on us men.
Yeah, the thing is though, Charles, you're one of you're in the minority with this one. You understand it. So what's gonna happen is people are gonna say, well then Patty, why'd you go? That's what dating as a black woman is. Even though that man was ill prepared,
victim blaming.
Even though that man had no kind of plan. I mean, no leadership skills, no nothing. Men are still going to find a way. People are still going to find a way to say, well, then, Patty, why did you go?
But she didn't know what the date was going to be about. So then it's kind of messed up because they are going to say that. Well, why did you go? Well, I gave him a chance. I said I was going to go see what he was going to do. I gave him a chance.
We come back to this point that was made in the comments of women are choosing these men But before we start deflecting, let's look into, as a Black woman.
But let me take accountability.
Like,
But let me take accountability because there were
That's in
flags.
the water.
Let me take accountability.
Like, how the fuck can
Let
you
me
not
finish,
understand that?
because there
Let
were
me finish.
flags.
I get that.
But there were
Common
flags.
sense.
I get that. But my thing is this: people are saying women choose, women choose, women choose. Let's speak to why women choose sometimes that mediocrity. As a Black woman, this is one of the words: lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Lonely. Imagine, and I've been here as a Black woman. I'm walking outside and I see people holding hands to my left, people on dates to my right. I see Black men canoodling with Hispanic women, white women, all different types of women. I
Here
see
we go.
everybody in relationships around me but me, and that's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So in my loneliness, and I've been here, I can speak and admit that. In my loneliness, did I settle? Absolutely. Because I wanted somebody, because everybody around me seems to get men but me. If I talk too much. If I don't talk, I'm not smart enough. My hair isn't long enough, so I'm not pretty. My hair is kinky and it's unkept. Oh, she's unkept. She doesn't know how to, she's not good with hygiene. You know, so many slurs have been thrown towards Black women that have left us to be undesirable. So in our loneliness, there are times that, yes, we will go out with that guy that says, let's go to the movies, even though you don't like movies. There are times that you will go over to that man's house because what the hell else are you doing? Nothing. There are times that you will entertain that guy via text because your phone is dry. So for people to say, oh, women just choose that way, think about the why though, and maybe you'll shut the hell up. And
thank you.
Listen. People are not listening to our plight. And instead of listening, they're trying to interject there. Well, this is why. This is why. How can you say what is why when you're not living what I'm living? If you listen and try to feel what I feel and try to understand where I'm coming from, then we can have conversation. But to just automatically blame me,
we're not. And to answer Coach said, we're not putting everyone in one group. I think what I said, the fact that this is a widespread issue. It's not something that just a few women here and there are dealing with, shows that there is a larger issue here. If people fit under the same group, then that's kind of on them. I'm gonna keep it real. However, I don't think that's the goal and what we're trying to say. I'm just saying that there seems to be a common experience, a shared experience that a lot of Black women are facing, that maybe that reality and that mirror that it puts up to some Black men, y'all don't want to look into it.
Her dogs holler.
And what I just wanted to interject is one point about dating. Like, one thing that I've learned also that has been invaluable is that we as women also need to prioritize platonic relationships, our relationships with our girlfriends. I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in trying to date, trying to get a man, trying to get chose, all this stuff, that there are valuable relationships that we already have in our lives. And I think sometimes you have to pour into those relationships as well, because as we can see, the dating pool itself is ghetto, and it brings a lot of trauma, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of confusion. And if you keep putting your energy into that, I don't know, sometimes the outcome isn't good. So I think we have that power to choose where we direct our attention and our energy and our efforts. And I saw that for myself firsthand of like, okay, let me plan more outings with my girlfriends. Let me do more things that really just make me happy, instead of just focusing all my energy and attention on being partnered. If it comes along, great. I'm not saying to shut yourself off from that experience, to not desire that, to not want partnership. I think that's natural. And we should still want that. But I think at the same time, we need to nurture relationships and situations that really feed and pour into us instead of take away from us. And I think that the dating experience can be very draining.
It's very draining.
And I'm gonna say something about what you just said about fostering and nourishing your platonic relationships, and you guys go on trips, and you guys post and these beta males will see that, the post, the pictures, like, oh, she's always on somebody's island, somebody's beach and everything. And they come with this like, oh, well, she's either unapproachable or she wants a rich nigga or she needs somebody that's always going to be, you know, keeping up with the same thing that she's doing.
For this.
Maybe I do.
Where the fuck is the
Maybe you
medium?
do. Maybe
Like-
you do. Maybe if that's your if that's your aesthetic, then hey, you know, hold out for who you hold out for. I get that. But like you said, I know a lot of women who do a lot of traveling and they do it in groups. And it's not to like sit up there and flaunt and floss and flex. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, like I need a break from what the fuck is going on over here in my real world.
Or maybe she just likes to travel. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. I'm not finished my point. I'm not finished my point. But I get you, Britt. I get you. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and it's that. But these guys who don't have that mentality will see it as, well, she's unattainable. I can't take her on a trip every other week or blah blah blah. Like then. Okay, then fine. If you can't do that, that's cool. Date in your range, my guy. Like, don't sit up there and try to shoot for the stars when you know you sitting up there shooting at the basket. Like,
But then you don't even know if that's really her aesthetic. He's just looking at pictures. He doesn't even know because he's not taking the time to find out.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the beta male
People
mentality.
think they know you from your social media.
They will take a snapshot of what they see, and then they make it their entire narrative.
Social media.
And that's where they get it wrong. I mean, like,
Daddy got
hold on. What?
And I'm gonna piggyback off of
you made me mess up my point, but go ahead.
What he's saying about people. I'm gonna piggyback off what you're saying, Professor Charles. People think they know you from your social media. And I say this because I have the issue where guys will approach me because of how I look. And they will be fixated on how I look. They will not take the time to try to get to know me as a person. They will think they know me and know how I live my life and know what I'm about just off of what they see on social media. I've had dudes, if you know me, Brittany knows me. Me and my homegirls have a page called Hippie Nips. And we talk about a lot of sex. I have guys all the time hitting me up. I know you just want your pussy ate. I know you just want some dick.
Woo!
You don't know me.
Petty.
You do not know me.
That's a segue.
You do not know me.
Petty. Yes.
You do not know me.
Yes.
You do not know me.
Absolutely.
At all. Just because I'm on a page talking about sex and I'm free to talk, and I feel free to talk about my sexuality and experiences I've had with sex, does not mean that I'm opening my pussy for anybody.
Right.
Speak on it, Patty girl. They don't know.
But people today, and that's not just men, that's people in general. Women are guilty of it too. Mm-hmm. We think we know somebody from their social media and we don't know them. Honestly, that is my biggest hurdle in dating today. Is that guys will see how I look and they will see my social media. And then when they I try to actually show them who I am, it doesn't match with who they thought I was.
Yeah. A topic that came up.
In their head who they thought I was.
Yeah, topic that came up. Another word was over-sexualized. And as Black women, we are definitely over-sexualized. In the dating scene, one of the first questions, men would ask is, can I get a pic? Can I get a pic? If I give you my social media, if I give
you got all the pictures in the world.
You have all of the pictures and you have a plethora to choose from. But no, that's not the kind of picture that they want. They want pictures of my aesthetics. They want my boobs. They want my butt. They want what's in between. They want to see all of that. And it's like, instead of asking on a slide, can I get a pic? Just say what you want. But as Black women, our bodies are so hypersexualized and they're so oversexualized that, it takes away from the whole dating aspect. That's what men in the beginning, when I first started dating, wanted. They wanted pictures of my nether regions. And it was like, if I gave them a face picture, no, go lower. I'll show you my neck then. You want a slim neck? Like, what are you looking for? and the standards of a black body are just insane. You know, there are such thing as slender black women. Not every woman is built like Nicki Minaj. Not every woman is built like the builder bodies that are coming out of Atlanta, Miami, and New York. The realistic standard of beauty for a black woman is so high and so unrealistic that takes away from dating. You know, one of the things that was hard for me to admit for a long time was how I viewed my hair. I have 4C hair, and when I was at Bryn Mawr, when I, you know, had my hairstyles, I had the press and curl, and my hair was straightened because my counterparts had straight hair. I had braids, so my hair was long. But I remember an incident at Bucknell when I decided to wash my hair and to wear my hair in its natural fro, and the ridicule that I got from my black men counterparts was so saddening that I think from that point it gave me a complex. For the longest time, I didn't want to wear my real hair. I always wanted to have extensions. I always wanted to have weave. And those same men that told me that I was ugly with my 4C hair are the same ones that wanted me to embrace my natural 5, 6, 7 years later. So it's like now I'm confused on what is beautiful as a black woman. Do you want me to be natural? Do you want me to be long? Do you want me to have locks? Do you want me to have a weave? Do you want me to be skinny or should I gain weight? Because the same people that called me fat at Bucknell now praise me for my thickness. So a lot of times you're so confused with these standards of beauty. It's like, what do you want? But now I'm at the point.
It's a confusing dumbness of what what these people want. Like it's bothersome to hear, you know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not trying to lump everybody in the same kind of pool or whatever, but you see this nonsense of like the contradiction of what is beauty to a black man, what is beauty to a black woman, and it's like, how are you supposed to judge somebody? You know, if it just doesn't make sense of why, you know, you put so much emphasis on what this European standard of beauty is, or what this Afrocentric standard of beauty is, and you're confusing the women. Like that's the main thing that I want to say. Like you're confusing the women instead of just accepting a woman for how she is. When you see her, when you meet her, regardless if she changes from, you know, a short haircut to 28 inches long, head down to her butt the next day, if she goes down to locks the day after that, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell? Like, because I remember it was a time, ladies and gentlemen, we thought Aaliyah was the goddess of everything, and she was rail thin. She had no tits, she had no ass, but she was sexy as shit. Now all of a sudden, everybody want thick. You want all the thickness, but you can't pay for the thickness meals. Like, what the fuck is the problem?
Right, but then you know, when you look at go ahead, Ania.
No, I was gonna say I saw a comment from saying that he wants his own photos or something, and that's why like men ask is because they want a picture that no one else gets. What entitles you to
the
that?
Fuck out as a man, then. What the fuck?
What entitles you to that when you're just talking to someone on the app? I'm really lost.
No,
that doesn't make sense. I'm sorry.
Because what I think
it's a lot of entitlement when it comes, like you said, if you're a correspondent on an app, all you see is pictures. And then if I give you my social media, all you see is pictures there. You don't need a private photo shoot if I'm just meeting you, we're just getting to know each other and all that stuff. For what?
Right. But then Ania, on top of that, so to even go to Seth's point, I took a selfie and he's like, not that kind of picture. So no, miss me with that. No.
Yeah. I don't know who he is, but he reminds me of a lot of the men that I encounter on dating apps that I promptly block and keep it moving. So.
But then even with the black woman, when it comes down to the sex and the aesthetics, it's like, okay.
Love it, Anya. Love it.
You want these sexy pictures. But then once you get the sexy pictures, who else you sending these to? So you want this freaky woman as a black woman. You want us to be freaks, but then you want us to be your own personal freaks. It's like, okay, you know how to do X, Y, and Z. That's too much. Like, are you doing that with other people or are you just doing that with me? Like I want somebody that's reserved, a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets.
But the bad thing about it, Brittany, is that you'll send that picture to your guy. Let's say, because I was with this guy for a while, I would send him his own personal picture, and then he turned right around and was like, "Oh, you sending it to somebody else, bruh? I'm with you. I live with you. What the fuck else do you want from me?
Right?
Like, who else do you think I sent this to? This was for you."
Right.
No one else has seen it. This is for you, and yet you still don't trust me. Like that was the man child. So of course you can take that F for what you will. So you can see why he thought other ways. But it's like you want these certain things, you get it, and then when you get it, you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Like I'm yours, you're getting all this stuff, and they want you to submit. Like I tried to deal with the man child, but it just wasn't working. I was listening to the people, they was like, "Oh, childhood trauma was number one." I even asked him, like, "Hey, bro, you need to go to therapy." He was like, "I don't need therapy." Yes, you do. Like you need to deal with your trauma because I am not your therapist, and you're not going to dump all your stuff on me to make me crazy. And he did, and I like what you said, the over sexualized. Like my social media, they don't see a lot of pictures of me. I'm very, very rare with the pictures that I put up. But you look at the memes and things that I put up, and a lot of guys will be like, "Oh, so this is what you like, this is what you do," and I was just cheating. Just off a post, and you can't even post on the internet anymore because you're automatically put into this box of this is what you're doing and this is what you're doing. But it's like, sir, I'm trying to be for you. Dating is so hard, especially with social media, because social media will ruin it. Social media ruined my relationship. I can definitely say that, and I wasn't doing anything wrong.
Wow.
At all.
So I want to piggy up back off of what Dottie said. I have rules for everything. And all of my friends will be like, "You're too tough." I don't care. I have rules for everything. I do not send nudes. I don't. And I've had guys that I've talked to, Brittany, you know, our Hippie Nips page where I talk about a whole bunch of different sexual stuff. And they'll get mad like, "You don't send me a nude, but you'll post about this all on social media." Nope. If you get to the space where we're in a relationship long enough where I feel comfortable with you, you can have your own photo shoot. You can take as many pictures as you want of me. I'm not taking no pictures to send you. That's period point. Like, I don't care how far along we are in a relationship. None of that. If you want to set up a photo shoot and I take pictures and I wear it and I pose how you want me to pose, cool. For your liking, yes. But no, I'm not taking no pictures. You know how much, I don't think men realize how much women go through for nudes, to go on a date, for any of it. That is a whole day process. Like getting your hair done, getting your nails done, getting your toes done, putting makeup on, finding the right outfit. That's a lot of work for a woman for a date. Even when it comes to nudes, men don't realize women will take probably about 50 pictures before they send you one. Yeah. I'm not doing it. Exactly. I am not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I will set that rule quick from the hurry. I'm not doing it.
Yes, and our sexuality
is not gonna stress me.
Put into a box. Our sexuality as a woman, as a Black woman, is put into a box. Some of the questions that I was asked when I was dating before my husband was, you know, how many guys have you slept with? And these were like leading in questions. Why does that matter? What size bra do you wear? What size panties do you wear? Why do these questions matter to the heart of getting to know me? Like there was a guy that judged a woman based off her number of men that she had sex with, and his number was higher. So
I be telling the truth. This is my number.
We're supposed to be these celibate angels. So then when we meet you, we're supposed to just unleash the freak just for you, though. Like the standards of our sexuality is unheard of. It is.
I don't get that shit. I don't get that shit. I don't get that shit.
It doesn't mean that you're privileged to have that. Like if a woman likes X, Y, and Z, and like Patty was saying, she can post about all she wants on her page. It doesn't mean that you're entitled to it. Like men just automatically assume, you know, when it comes down to we're talking, we're dating, recording, that you're entitled. And that's not the case. You're entitled to it when we give you the entitlement. How about that?
And Brittany, I want to say something because I think this is a huge thing for Black women in dating. The part where you were talking about being lonely, I think that is a huge thing for women. We do tend to just overlook red flags, or we do tend to just be like, forget it, I'm not going to stress it, because we're lonely. Now, I will say this, and I give the men in my life praise all all day long, because I have great men, and I mean male friends in my life that step up when I am lonely. And I will give an example. My best friend is a man. During COVID, I went through a very mental, like, I'm in my house by myself all day, every day. That man came down. My best friend came down and stayed with me for
No,
2
my
weeks.
cousin live here. She said this door be getting stuck sometimes. Yeah, because like when I came here the first time, she came to let
Sorry,
me in. I'm
Shamir,
like,
can you
y'all
go on
can't
mute,
buzz
please?
us in, and I think it's something to do with
Charles,
like
can
the
you mute
buzzer or
her?
something like that.
I
But if
got
y'all
you.
live here and that key is doing, I would talk.
There we go.
I was kind
I
of
got
interested.
Yeah.
But my male best friend, he came down for 2 weeks because I was in a bad
Really?
headspace. He came down for 2 weeks and stayed with me.
Wow.
I mean, breakfast in bed almost every morning,
Ooh.
cooking dinner, hanging out with me throughout the day. Was anything sexual between us? No. Was there anything romantic between us? No. But because he knew as a female, you're lonely, you're in this house by yourself, you're going stir crazy, I'm going to step up as your male friend, and I'm going to do.
Wow.
My other, my best friend Lala, her boyfriend, anytime that they go out and they do stuff, he includes me. He's never one to be like, you're a third wheel. He'd be like, Patty, you coming? You gonna join us? We going on a date. You coming with us?
Yes. Yes. Shout out to
So
John. Shout out to the men friend. That's awesome, Patty. I
So
love
I
that.
really think it is important for women. I know men be like, I don't want you to have no male friends. F them. I think it is very important for women, even if sometimes a relationship don't work because you aren't meshing well, you don't have to necessarily end the complete relationship. If they have good friendship qualities, sometimes elaborate on those friendship qualities. Hey, you're not a good boyfriend, but I think you'd be a great friend.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you're
Yes.
not what I need in a man, but you're a great friend. And I think
Yes.
sometimes we're so quick as women to be like, well, he wasn't a good boyfriend, so F him. I'm not dealing with him no more. No, sometimes they can be really good friends that can still provide that male companionship, that can still provide that male input to relationships. I go to a lot of my male friends when I go through dates, and I'm like, well, what should I have done? What did I do differently? Where can I
Yes.
be accountable in this
That's great.
situation? But when you don't have male friends in your life, you don't have that feedback. So you're going through these relationships with other men kind of aimlessly. So I just want to piggyback off the loneliness, because I think a lot of that loneliness could be combated if you just had those men in your life that aren't romantic or intimate, but truly care about your well-being and your best interest.
Wow.
It is true. It is true.
Well,
I mean, good Lord, like my best friend.
And then you won't look for it. You won't be so lonely that you're
I mean,
desperate to get a man. You're desperate to be in a
Right.
relationship. You're
Right.
desperate to have this. I don't be, when we were talking about dating, I be dating just for fun. I'm gonna be honest. That's why I can go into it without expectations. Because if you don't meet up with what I don't want, I ain't losing nothing. I can call my best friend tomorrow and go on a date. I can call my homegirl and go out on a date with her fiance. Like, I don't need the male companionship because I have other men that fulfill that male companionship, even if it isn't sexual. So if I just want dick, I can easily say I just want dick because I have male companionship. I might just be horny and need the dick.
Yes.
But if
Patty,
you don't have that male
that's good.
companionship outside of a relationship, then one, it's very hard for you to find it in a relationship because you don't know what it looks like as women. And let's be honest, let's be real. If you don't know what a male companionship outside of sex, outside of a romantic relationship is, then it's hard for you to see it when you're in a relationship.
Ooh. Ooh.
That's real. That's real.
So I'm going to pose this question to all of our beautiful panelists before we wrap up. I know we went over, but this is good conversation. What is something that Black women need from men in terms of dating and relationships? What's one thing that we need from men, or if we're in a homosexual relationship, from women? What's one thing that we need as Black women in the dating and relationship world? And Patty answered my question. Patty gave my answer. And I'm so thankful that I have men that are platonic friends in my life. Shout out to Charles. Shout out to, he's not watching, but Gary. I have really good platonic friends that I can bounce things and ideas off of when it comes to dating and relationships that I can't necessarily get from a
A woman.
woman, or even from my husband. And the thing of it is, when I mean platonic, I need a friendship from a man whose ulterior motive is not to get me to have sex with them.
That's where I was going to go.
I need a platonic man that will see me as a platonic woman friend with no ulterior motive. How do I know that I have that in Charles and Gary? They never approach me at ungodly hours without, number one, apologizing for the time in which they contacted me, and two, addressing my husband. Then after that, then we start talking. They respect my marriage, and they respect me first and foremost. So that's how I know that I've had platonic friendships. Now, I've had friends that, oh, hey, we cool. What's up, sis? But then it's like, hey, what's new? How are things with you and your husband? Let's link up. Okay, next. So that's what I need. I need platonic men friends, and I have them, and I salute them. That's what I need.
Yep.
I agree. Now, Lauren has a comment. She says she needs platonic male friends.
Lauren has plenty of platonic male friends. I don't want to hear that from Lauren. Lauren has plenty of male platonic friends. Hence, her fiance is the one that I said is including me on their dates and their outings.
Yes.
So.
Lauren was on our Polly show, so we salute to Polly. I mean, salute to
yes. Go back and watch that show.
Salute to Lauren and John, Lala and John. Salute to them.
Absolutely.
Okay. I would say I need emotional intelligence, and for men to really develop that. I think that society focuses a lot on men being providers and protectors, being financially stable. You hear men like, I'm out here grinding, I'm doing this. That's great. And it's necessary. We all need to survive and maintain, and that's life. But I think in the ways of really being emotionally intelligent, I think would address a lot of the things that we talked about, even like when it comes to safety. If a man is aware that like women typically don't feel safe being in, the physical company of a man that they don't know, they're not going to ask them out on the first date, on the first, few messages on a dating app. They're not going to put them in certain positions or even ask them to be in certain positions because they're already considering what that may mean and what that could bring up for her. When a man is emotionally intelligent, he's not, being manipulative. He's not gaslighting. He's not lying and being deceptive about where he is, in his relationship status, where he is in life. He's self-aware, things like that. He's accountable. Those, I think it kind of falls under a really large umbrella, but I think that's one of my biggest things.
I'm going to say I need, it's kind of like two parts, but transparency, because if you are straight up with me and tell me what you're looking for from the get-go, I know how to move with you. Don't tell me you're looking for, I'm looking for my future wife, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, but in all reality, you're looking for a fuck buddy. So now I'm wasting my time dealing with you because you're doing that whole dating thing to make it look like we're getting somewhere, and you just wanted some consistent ass whenever you wanted it. So if I say, okay, yeah, I can take a fuck buddy now, but also know that I'm going to be still doing me on this side because I'm looking for somebody that's looking for that commitment and looking to settle down and looking for marriage and the kids and all that good shit.
Yo, you nailed it right there, Kelly.
Yeah, she got me like.
I'm like
that
you
was
like
the
you
one.
nailed it. Like,
That was
I
the
don't
one.
even, because
Wow.
it's the whole thing of like, okay, it's 2021 and we're still playing these games of like, well, let me say what I think she might want to hear, or let me do something that she might think, and not understanding the repercussions or the consequences of that. Because once you start down that path of lies and deception, just to, like Kelly said, to get consistent ass, you're setting her up for failure. And then you want to be the one to call her crazy when you sit up here, you did all this other stuff, you showed all these quote unquote boyfriend qualities, these husband qualities, these, saying that you're different from the rest or whatever. And that's not what you want when shit get real, when she's just like, okay, we've been doing this for so long. Where we going? Now it's just like, whoa, bruh, it's 2021. People are out here who just really just want to have some sex and just go on by their business. The least you can do for a person is just be honest with them. Look, I'm feeling you. I think you're sexy. I think you're attractive. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not looking for something serious. You know what I'm saying? If that's something that you into, cool. If that's something that you're not into, cool. I can go ahead and bounce. Give people options. Like, I don't understand.
That's it. Don't take my option from me.
Give people options. It's not hard.
I'm gonna give you a reason why it is hard. I'm gonna give you a reason why it's hard, and this is where women have to be accountable. And I'm just being honest. For such a long time, a man was not capable of saying that.
True.
You got to look at the history. Now in 2021, we are, but it's still an experience for, just like we've had our experience, so we have walls up. Men have had experiences where they've been honest with women and just got shut down.
True.
You've had men that, and I'm not saying that should equate to them going around and lying, but I think as men, when you have so many experiences of you being honest, and men and women just being like, well, nah, you a fuck boy, I'm not fucking with you, or them degrading you because you're being honest about what you want and what you're looking for, it becomes a thing. Well, I'll just lie and tell her what she wants to hear so that we can be on the same page.
I'm gonna be real. It's not men with so many experiences being so honest. It's not.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's not like they dated 20 women and they told all 20 that, hey, I'm just looking to have sex with somebody. And now the 21st woman, they decide, okay, I'm gonna turn the corner and now I'm gonna start lying to people.
I'm gonna
be real. That's not
set themselves up to get hurt in the end, because it's gonna be that one bitch they tell, oh yeah, I just want a fuck buddy, and then you get a fuck buddy, and then they fall for it, and then they be like, well, nigga, you said you just want a fuck buddy. So
but listen, I'm saying this because I'm gonna be honest. For the longest time, I've been that fuck buddy. I've been that woman that didn't want to do nothing but have a fuck buddy. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real. This is what I'm saying. It is a lot of men out there that have had these experiences, because when it comes to me, they're telling me like, yo, like I've never been able to be this upfront with a woman about what I expect. And I'm not saying I've had one or two fuck buddies. I've had some fuck buddies. You get what I'm saying? Like, hey,
I'm just saying, like, the majority of men are not out here, and they just had this long history of being so honest and so transparent and so upfront. That's what I'm trying to correct. I understand that may be the case, and some women may like be turned off by that, but I don't think it's this experience where, okay, well, I've been so honest, and now I just have to lie because I always get this adverse reaction. That's not the case. I think that is a socialization.
No, the problem is they've been lying. They've been lying.
It's their personal experience, and they've been lying. I'm not saying it's their personal experience. I'm just saying society has geared them in a way where it's like women don't accept you just coming to them and saying you just want to fuck. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily that they've experienced it, but society has geared them that a woman does not want to hear you just want to fuck. And if she's telling you, hey, just be honest with me about what your expectation is,
and they can't handle the honesty.
And society is that women can't handle the honesty. So I'm going to lie to her to give her what she wants so that I can return get what I want. So, and I say this because I have this thing where I'm like, hey, just be honest with what you want. And then they'll tell me, oh, I want a relationship, I want to build with you, And then I peep the signs that they really just want a fuck buddy because I'm used to being a fuck buddy. And I'm like, bro, why don't you just be honest and say you want to be a fuck buddy? Because I didn't know how you were going to take it. So many times, like, I've said that I wanted a fuck buddy, or I've kind of presented it as I wanted a fuck buddy, and it's automatically like, nah. Or or a woman hears that he only wants something fun and not something serious and thinks he's going to change. I can change. We have this mentality as a woman. I can change him.
I don't negate that. I don't negate that.
That's where
I don't
it is.
negate that, but the bottom line is that if you know that you're in a certain place at the end of the day, and it is different from where the person that you're involved with is, then it's a mismatch. Then you need to go your way and they need to go theirs. I don't care if how her reaction is going to be, or even if she decides to stick around. If you had that situation, fine. But most men, keeping it real, do not give women that opportunity. They don't.
No, they don't. And honestly,
they don't because for whatever reason that is. For whatever reason, but if you get shut down, then you already know you're on a different page than someone. So then you can go and find somebody that is on the same page. It's not fair.
Patty gave you the reason. Patty gave you the reason. It's because
I understand the reason, but I'm not going to scapegoat men because the society been telling me this. Well, if society also tells you that a woman is going to go along with something, or society going to, it just sounds like bullshit and excuses for them. And ultimately, if you're an adult, you're responsible for your behavior and what you tell people.
But it's excuses for us too.
Keep it real. We're saying at this juncture, what do we need from men? So that's what we're saying. Like we need honesty at whatever cost that is, whether it's the person walking away or a person sticking around thinking that the situation is going to change. But you put it out there as honest.
Right.
I'm just hoping that people understand that honesty often can come with some hurt, because it breaks down your preconceived. It breaks down your preconceived notions. It breaks down your normality of like, okay, like I've always been chased, as speaking as like hypothetically as a woman, like you've always been chased, right? Okay. Say you've always been, you always been pursued since you were 15 or whatever, and you finally see somebody and that you want to pursue them. They're like, no, you're really not my type. That right there, that honesty can be world breaking to some people because you're so used to being chased on something. So the thing is, we got to.
That's not your responsibility. Is how they react. Is not your responsibility.
It's how you react. It's how you react to it.
Yeah. Now, so that's not the issue.
Comes to you, it's like, look, hey, I just like if a guy comes to you and says, look, I'm really feeling you, but all I really want is like something, physical, whatever. I'm not looking to really engage in anything, emotionally available or whatever. It's your absolute choice to either say yes or no. After that, it is what it is. If you say yes, then you have to deal with everything that comes along with that. If you say no, then it's more on to the next. And that's the whole thing. But don't be on the whole thing of like, no man can be honest, or no man has been honest, or it's not like a huge thing. Because we've all
saying it's not this long line of women that I've been honest with this one. Oh, now all of a sudden I'm gonna start lying. No, some men just learn to lie, be manipulative.
No,
but
some do.
And she even said from her experience.
We start off telling the truth. Then when we find out that truth doesn't really fit the narrative, when we find that that truth does not fit the narrative, yes, a lot of men have switched over to game.
I'm a lie. Maybe you do. Maybe you do, Charles. But we date men, and we're telling you the experience. And I thought this was our conversation to lead and talk about our experience.
Niggas been lying to get what they want, and then they switch up. Like if they're saying, okay, yeah, I want this or whatever, I want a relationship, I want to do this, but it's really not what they wanted to do. They wanted to fuck from the jump.
Right.
True.
And Kelly, you know what? Kelly.
Absolutely.
So and waste of
time. Let me clarify, because I feel like I caused this chaos. So let me just clarify. I am not condoning a man lying in any way, shape, or form. I'm only giving a backstory into why men have started lying. That's
I
all
agree.
I'm
I get that,
saying
but
from
we
my
get why people
personal
lie.
experience.
People always lie because
My
they think that's
personal
going to get them
experience.
to what they want. We
What
get
they
it.
want.
We know
That's
that.
it.
We know that. So we don't
But
got
what
to
I'm
cape for
saying
men,
is,
Not every
women,
woman is
anybody
super
that
honest
lies.
about their
We
shit.
don't need
But
to do
okay.
it. Some people can't handle the truth.
but
We know that. Some people are going to lie. Women, men, kids, people lie to try to get what they like. We don't have to put on a cape or try to justify or give context to it because we already know that that's the situation. We're just talking about what we want out of dating that can help us move in healthy ways with each other. And if men are starting
to
off
my
on the foot of lying and being deceptive about what their intentions are, where they are emotionally, mentally, what they are willing to have with somebody and build with somebody, that's a problem. And it's something that most, if not all women have experienced in dating.
Oof.
Right.
That's what we're saying. That's the bottom line. That's it.
Right.
That's
That's
all
why
I'm
I
trying to
said
say.
I needed transparency. Because if you tell me from jump
Right.
that you want to fuck, then I can accept it and fuck, or accept it and move the fuck on.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I said the exact same
And
thing.
I'm not taking away from what you're saying. I just want to clarify. I'm not taking away from what you're saying. I completely agree. Be honest up front with what your intentions are. I was just giving a backside from my experience with the male friends I have and the encounters that I've had as a fuck buddy of why men are lying up front. That was it. I completely agree with being upfront and intentional with what your intentions are. I completely agree with that. I was just piggybacking off of what you were saying to give some insight into where this has come from, where we're seeing more of men lying about this. That's all.
Yeah, I understood
I'm
that.
not
men,
agreeing with
they've been
it. I'm not
lying.
saying that
Just
they're
been
right
lying.
for
Been
it.
since lying was a thing.
I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is a lot of this has come from where they have approached women and said, "Hey, these are my intentions," and the woman's like, "Oh, okay, I'm good," and I've seen it firsthand. Oh, okay, that's fine. And then 2 months down the line, she wants a relationship, and he's like, "I thought we were just fucking," and now her feelings
You
are
right.
hurt.
But
You're
you also
right.
have men that say they just want to fuck buddy and they just want to be casual with you. If somebody else comes along, they you look up a man might be in a relationship, engaged, and you're like, wow, I thought
So
you didn't want a relationship. So I
Right.
think people also need to keep that real too. Like, yeah, there are people that hang on to situations that they shouldn't, right? We've all probably been guilty of doing that at some point or another. I think that's just a human nature thing where you think you think something can come of it. You see some potential and promise. We talked about that this whole episode. But my point is like there are also men that will turn up or women that turn up in a relationship after telling the person that they were seeing before that they didn't want that. The with you was silent. And
Right.
Yes,
so
the
a
with
lot
you
of
was
people
silent. That was
a
yes.
lot of people are deceptive and they don't want to keep it all the way real. They know that
but
they
can I
don't
have a
want that
question?
with you
But
specifically.
I do have a question. I do have a question. Is it wrong that he told you that he didn't want a relationship because he didn't see a relationship with you, but the next woman that came along he saw a relationship with? Because he said he didn't want a relationship didn't mean he didn't want a relationship in general. It may mean that he just didn't see a relationship with you.
And no, and Patty,
And I think sometimes
Yeah,
as
but that's a
women,
distinction that
I
people
think
don't
sometimes
make.
and that's
But
and it's not going to be a distinction, but that's why I'm saying sometimes we as women have to stop being like, oh, he doesn't want a relationship in general, and when we see that he's with another woman, accept that maybe he just didn't want a relationship with me.
Hello.
I think
he
that's what
could have,
I'm saying.
when he met said woman, he could have been honest and transparent and said, "Hey, I found this with somebody else," and let that situation go. But sometimes men want to see how long they can string you along before they get caught and get exposed because greed.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't had that experience with me being.
I give you that.
Honest,
I give you that,
I
Brittany.
have.
me being, and I will give you
I give you
that.
that.
I will give you that. But I haven't personally had that experience. Most times when I have a fuck buddy, if we are fucking around and they end up being in a relationship with somebody else, they're very transparent with me about, hey, I'm in a relationship. This has got to end. We're not doing this no more. I've moved on. You get what I'm saying? And this is all coming to the point that I was going to bring. To me, what's important for men is communication. That is what's important to me, is communication. I don't care about nothing else, but are you communicating with me on what is going on in our situation? Whether it's a fuck buddy, a relationship, whatever. Are you communicating with me where you stand. That's my what I need from men. But my experience with men is they typically do tell me before they just pop up in a relationship and I see it on social media. And I think that's because they feel at that point of dealing with me, but I feel like it's because of that point of dealing with me, they feel comfortable enough to be completely transparent and honest with me. They don't feel like I'm gonna attack them. They don't feel like I'm gonna come at them like, oh, you gonna be in a relationship with another bitch, but I've been sitting here sucking your dick for five years. They don't feel that way. It's like, oh, I can come to her and have a real conversation and say, hey, I found a woman that I want to build a relationship with. And instead of me pointing fingers and saying, oh, but I wasn't worth it. I wasn't good enough.
Right.
I wasn't the woman. I'm like, oh, congratulations. Good for you. You found her. What's her name? What she look like? Who she is?
These men need to teach some of these men out here because that's a beautiful story.
Listen, because Patty is walking all up and down my street right now, yo.
Because I've created that space for them to feel safe to be honest with me. I don't judge them for their honesty. I don't beat them for their honesty. I don't sit there and degrade them for their honesty. I'm like, okay, you're being honest. Cool. Thank you for being honest with me. Thank you for sharing that with me before I had to go see it on social media. Thank you for giving me this prelude before going. But a lot of men don't feel comfortable in that space to share it. They don't feel comfortable.
I feel like that's putting a lot of onus on women in the situation, and not to evade accountability on our behalf or anything like that, because it could be that, right? They could not feel emotionally safe to share certain things, sure. But is that always the case? Are people honestly even emotionally evolved enough to consider it in those terms? Because a lot of times the reason why they want something casual is so they can just write it off and be done with it and keep it moving at their will and their leisure. They're not even.
I think that's the
I'm saying you may have a specific experience, and I can't refute
there's a definite
or deny that. But I'm saying, like, if somebody is casually like, well, I don't have to tell you, I don't got to notify you, not my girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's also that aspect of it as well. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you meet someone and they're just like, man, I'm just chilling right now, I don't want no relationship, and you've been dealing with them for, let's say, 6 months, and they pop up in a relationship, like, I get where you're coming from. If that was what you also wanted out of the relationship completely and nothing more, then that's fine. But there are some people where over time you may develop feelings for somebody. You may start a connection with somebody that, okay, this started off casual, but now, like, I kind of like this person. So, or even if it didn't, like, you're human. So if you're being intimate with somebody on a regular basis for months and they end up in a relationship after telling you they didn't want one, then, like, that's only human for you maybe to feel a way about that. You know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying and your perspective of it. And I'm glad that there are situations out there where people can be very candid, but that's not, I don't think, always the case.
So Anya, I say that to say that's why I said communication is key to me. I completely agree with you, Anya. And that's why I'm saying communication is key to me. Because the moment that I start having feelings for you, I'm coming to you and saying, hey, I'm feeling deeper than just us being fuck buddies. Where are you at? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Are you feeling the same vibes that I'm feeling? Like, the moment I realize, like, hey, yo, I actually like this nigga. It's just not fucking. I actually like this nigga. Like, I like spending time with him. I want him to call me every day. I want to talk to him every day. I'm communicating with him. Hey, my views have changed. I like you. And I want you to be mine. So where are you at?
Right.
And it's real. It's just like,
I'm still on some casual. I just want to hook up. Well, look, now I've got feelings. That's not going to work for me. So we're done. And I've had those situations where I've had to tell a man that I've been just fuck buddies with, hey, I actually like you. Like, you actually were one of these guys that you weren't just fuck buddy. You were boyfriend material.
Right. Okay.
You check every box off my list. And I want you. And I've had to have that rejection where it's like, hey, but I don't see you as girl. And I've had niggas tell me specifically, I don't see you as my girlfriend. I don't see you as a wife to be.
And that
And
was
it's
that
nothing
was my
And
whole
I've never had a man
that was
say
my
that.
whole point
personal.
earlier. That was my whole point
It's
earlier.
nothing
That was my whole point earlier about the world breaking of honesty. Like you thought that you was the one. I mean, because most women are
We
brought
think we
up
are.
in this. Exactly. Most women are brought up in that way of like, I am the prize, I am it, I am the one.
Here's my
Period.
time. Hear me roar.
But at the same time, you go through, relationship after relationship after relationship, and it's not working out in your favor. Then okay, maybe you're not the one. And like you said, Patty, you had guys who you were completely emotionally and physically attached to, and they still found somebody else that was not you. Yes, that can be a blow to your ego at any damn time. That can be a huge blow to your ego.
And it can be,
But at the same time, it's like, well,
impacted my self-esteem. It has impacted my self-esteem. I'm not gonna
It has.
lie and sit
It
here and
can.
be like, afterwards,
Damn.
I didn't sit here and
Whoa,
be
this
like,
was-
well, what can I bring? Why wasn't I good enough? Why did he choose this one? I'm not saying that I didn't have those emotions, I didn't have those feelings. I'm not combating that at all. All I'm saying is, at that point, I have to accept that it's not anything that I did wrong. I just wasn't the woman for him.
That's
and
it.
he chose a woman he felt is better suited for him. Okay. And when I get to the bottom of that, you communicated with me. You told me, hey, you're it's nothing that you're doing wrong. You're a great woman. I just don't see her. Maybe it's because you're too independent. And hey, I'm too independent. Cool. I get it. Now,
I love this. No,
I
go
don't want
ahead.
to be with somebody. I don't want to be with somebody that feels like I'm too independent. So at that point where you're telling me like, hey, what did I do wrong? Why don't you want a relationship with me? And you say, hey, you're too independent. Cool. I'm not going to change me being independent for you.
Right.
So it wouldn't have worked anyway.
Right. I love this dialogue. We could talk all night. So as you can see, dating as a Black woman is layered, and we can talk for hours, but we're not talking for hours today. So for us to end on this,
I got a husband to go to.
Yeah, I surely do. He's right over there. So on that note, there are quite a few women in my DM on Facebook and Instagram, and these comments by far are the ones that broke my heart the most. So we're gonna end with this. Black women want to give up. There were several that said, I've given up and I'm willing to settle on being alone, because that is what society and what the stars have for me, is just to be by myself. So what hope or what encouragement can we give to those Black women that feel like they are undesirable and that they won't be chosen? What are some words that we can use to uplift? Because right now, Black women in dating, we need uplifting. Based off of all, and I didn't even get to all of the words, but none of them were good. What are some ways that we can uplift? And before we answer, I did have three Black men give their take on dating as a Black woman, even though didn't ask for it.
How?
Which gives insight to, sometimes people interject where they're not summoned. And one said dating Black women is a vibe. Oh, okay. Well, another one said dating women is magical. Another Black man said dating as a Black woman can be beneficial if she's grown. So
really? Really?
Okay. So I read those and I was like, okay. So those are the outliers that I didn't even mention during the meat of the show, because guess what? As a Black woman, it doesn't matter because you're not a Black woman. So
that's what I mean, because
there's that. So for us to uplift the Black women, because there was not one positive word to describe dating as a Black woman. What can we say to uplift our Black women that feel like they'll never be chosen, that they're undesirable, and that they will die single?
Well, I'm not one to blow smoke up anybody's ass and be like, oh, you'll find him, sis. Your Mr. Right is right around the corner. Maybe he's not, but like I said earlier, decentering romantic relationships, I think, is really important. I know it's a really tough concept to, especially for women, not just Black women, but women in general. I feel like we get socialized to think your worth, your value, your livelihood, your protection all centers around your ability to get a partner, have a partner. It's always about keeping a man and getting them, you know, and it's a lot to keep up with. And I think when we try to focus on other areas of happiness and contentment in our lives, other relationships, whether it's platonic male relationships, whether it's your girlfriends, whether it's your familial relationships, whatever those are, I think pour into that, pour into yourself. I think really fortify yourself as much as you can in ways that, you know, make you feel good about yourself. If you've gotten to a point where dating just feels stressful and toxic, frankly. You know, I think a lot of women are there, and I get it. And I've been on and off of that feeling myself for years, but the reality is life doesn't stop whether you have a partner or not. So, like I said, pour into those areas that feed into you. That's my advice.
Love it. Wow.
I was gonna be real petty and be like, date all these niggas, sis. But I mean,
Date them all.
Date all these
Date them all.
Date them all.
Date them all.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have fun. Hang out with your
God
girls. Hang out with your guys. Hang out with whoever the fuck makes you feel good in that moment. Whether it's happy, you know, just have a good time. Don't put the stress of looking for, oh, this one is going to be the one. This one has to be the one. Live in the moment. That's it.
Kelly, I love you.
I love you.
Me? Because date all the niggas.
All these niggas.
Date them all.
And the bitches. And the bitches.
And the bitches too, if you want to.
We ain't judging here at Date University. We don't judge here at Date University. I need y'all to know that. I don't care what you I don't care shit. You want to fuck a purple crayon? I don't give a damn. That's your business.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Patty, uplift us, queen. Uplift us.
So my advice or my tidbit would be, don't go into dating with expectations. You never know the people that you're going to meet. You never know how they're going to impact your life, what they can do to you, or what they can provide to you. So just because they don't meet the standards of dating, don't cut them out so short. Don't just say it's the end of it. Sometimes you can find true friendships, true bonding relationships through dating. So take it as an experience. Just experience it. Don't go into it with expectations thinking you're going to find your husband, your soulmate, your love to be all. As Kelly said, have fun with it. Enjoy it. Live it day by day. Embrace the relationships, the friendships you build from it. Those friendships that you build, elaborate on them. Like, it could be a million things better that come from it if you just take those expectations out the way.
Yeah, I love it. My final words, Professor Brittany's final words. Don't get tired, sis. Like, don't get tired. You're not always going to bat at 100. You're going to have some strikeouts. But what's most important about when you strike out is, what do you do and what have you learned? Have you taken time out to really reflect on that failure? What did he do? Or what did she do? What could I have done better? It's that healing time for me. It was the healing time for me, because my old MO was, if I had something and it ended on Monday at 12:01, by 12:03 I was back at it. And so at that point I was already exhausted. So I'm starting the process again exhausted, and I'm starting it with a shorter fuse and taking out the residue from the past onto that person in the present. So I didn't take enough time out for me. So if you're going to stay out there and keep dating, sis, if things don't work out, pause, take a breather. Like Ania said, pour back into yourself, because it's depleting. When you pour so much of yourself into a situation that you think is going to end one way and it ends another way, it's best to, walk away, lick your wounds, Fix yourself, heal yourself, do what makes you happy, and get back to a space where you feel 100. You may not feel 100, you may be 90, but well enough to go back into that dating ring and not get knocked out at the first blow. So take that time out in between those failed whatever and just do you. Live life, be happy, learn those lessons, apply them to your next one. Figure out what you want, figure out what you don't want, set boundaries. Set those boundaries. And then have fun. Just have fun. No one ever said dating was fun, but it has the potential to be fun, and fun is what you make it.
Oh
You
shoot!
make
Yeah,
that
hold
sound
on.
so good,
Wait a
Britt.
minute.
Hey y'all,
Mhm.
are we? I apologize because I did have to make a run, and people were waiting on me. But I really wanted to engage, so I was like, while I had time, I wanted to jump back in. I did join the live first and was listening to y'all. But if it's okay, can I add my ending remarks?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to say, as far as dating, that's the time to ask as many questions as you can. That's the getting to know one another stage. And mental illness. Do you have mental illness in your family? How was you raised? Like, those things need to be discussed, because some of the reasons why dating isn't working out for us is because of stuff that we didn't heal from, like Brittany was saying, or dealt with, that can help us, be in a positive atmosphere to even be in a relationship or to even date. Because you do have to be in that mental space to date. So ask questions. Ask as many questions as you need to get to know that person, no matter the smallest, the biggest, dumbest question. They always said in school, ain't no dumb question. And I also, my advice is, I used to pray for the husband that I wanted, and I prayed for God to help me become the wife that I need to be for the man that He has for me, and to continue to work on me so that I'm not going into something broken and head clear. So ask questions, pray, keep God first, and like Brittany said, try to have fun with it.
Yeah. I have to read Ashley's comment because that is it for me. Don't be afraid to date out of the box of your typical type either. Those usually be the ones that treat you the best. My type was equated to F boy, so I had to reevaluate myself. I really like that.
Because y'all be letting them niggas sit in y'all inboxes forever and a day.
And I just want to say, because I left a comment in the chat, I kind of said the same thing. After every relationship, take a moment to self-evaluate and to see what could I have done differently. What could I have really done for a different outcome? Because it's not always the men. As Shamir said, sometimes it is us in our own way. Sometimes we have walls. Sometimes we have trauma that we're dealing with. So definitely take the time to evaluate yourself after these situations to say, hey, I could have not responded that way. I could have been more patient. I could have, gave a little more compassion or love. Definitely take that time to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone 2 hours and 8 minutes.
It was a pleasure. I mean, first and foremost, we just want to thank all of our beautiful Black women that came on the show to be transparent about dating as a Black woman. All of your feedback was invaluable and definitely necessary. So if you're watching the show, share it. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it with your family. But this show needs to be listened to by a lot of people out here. So I'm hoping that tomorrow, when you wake up and you roll over to your phone, you share this post. That's your homework. Share this post and then inbox at least 5 people and encourage them to like the page and to watch this show.
Absolutely. Ladies, I want to say thank you. On behalf of all of the evolved men in the world, I want to say thank you.
All three of y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so excited.
Yes. Thank y'all for being transparent. Thank
Yeah.
you for being honest. Thank you for being real. Thank you for checking all of these preconceived notions and myths and ideas and putting to rest some real deep-seated issues that not only we as men have, but women have as well. I mean, I am grateful for Black women. Like, there ain't a thing God made better than a Black woman. Not one thing. Like, I don't care what it is. And I'm just, huh?
Jolly Ranchers.
All right, Jolly Ranchers is like right there, like Black women, and then like
I love my fruity candy. God broke the mold when he made that fruity candy.
But yes, thank y'all so much for taking the time.
I love all of y'all. I thank you, Patty. Thank you, Ania. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Shamir. Thank you, Dottie. Thank you all. They're all so beautiful. So if you watch this and you're like, oh, she fine, please proceed with caution. Like,
bring your damn A game, please.
You're representing us. You're representing Dating University when you shoot your shot. Please.
Because I will clown your ass.
I surely will.
I don't care.
We're thankful for all of you. Thank you for staying. I mean, y'all really stayed with us on this show. Y'all was really rocking with us. So thank you. Because
I need y'all to rock with me when the man show next week. I need y'all to rock with me.
Yes. And I have to say thank you to Ania. I always give people credit and their flowers while they're here. We always talk. We talk all the time. It's my best friend. And we talk about dating. And she said, bro, you should really do a show about dating as a Black woman. And I said, that is such a bomb idea. And I feel like, we were able to give a voice to the voiceless. A lot of us as Black women are suffering in silence when it comes to dating and relationships, and just giving a space and having a platform just to air our grievances without judgment, without defensiveness is a beautiful thing. And I'm glad that she had the idea, and thankful for Charles that he allowed me to say, I want to do this on Thursday. Because we have a set script of what we're supposed to do for each week. But I said, no, we got to do this. And he's like, do what you want. And he just let me just, take the reins with it. So just thank you, Ania. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Patty. We posted the dating as a Black woman, and she was like, this will be fun. I want to do it. Same with Dottie. This will be fun. I want to do it. I love people that speak up and want to speak for us Black women. And then Kelly, who gives us all of our content, she'll tag us and stuff all throughout the week. And it is like fire content. And
I want to say this right. I want to say this right.
As you give us, I have to have you on the show. I
want to say this right now. Kelly, look at me.
Yeah.
Hold on, because I gotta bring her full screens. Because because I'm about to embarrass her. Like, I don't know what.
Bring her full screen.
Oh my God! Don't embarrass me.
Bring her full screen.
Hi, boo.
Bring her full screen.
I'm asking you, would you be a part of our content creation?
Oh shit.
You ain't gotta be on camera, but would you like to be a part of our content creation?
I would love to.
Because you come with some stuff.
Build that resume, Kelly.
Thank you.
I love it. No, seriously, y'all. Every time she tags us in something, I think either Charles or I posted.
You mean like Brittany, Charles? Bring y'all asses here.
Yeah, she's the brain behind some of the stuff that we talk about on the show. So again, we have to give credit where credit is due.
Exactly. Like we definitely give you your flowers, yo.
And y'all, 2 weeks in a row. Watch this. 2 weeks in a row. Hippie Nymphs be really looking out for Dating University. Follow them. Hippie Nymphs. We're gonna post that in our story and on our page. So we had Lala last week, and now we have Patty. So Hippie Nymphs, thank you for rocking with Dating University. We love the content that you give us. So if ever you have a show,
we love you.
You need us on it. We are there. We need you on DU After Dark as well, because the content that you bring on your page is what we would love to have on DU After Dark. So we'll be talking.
Just tell me when. I'm there.
Sorry about that.
We'll be talking. All right, that's enough kudos for tonight, Charles. I'm good. You good, buddy?
Oops. Sorry about that. Got a little technical difficulties out of nowhere.
So next week we'll be
There we
dating
go.
as a black man. Can't wait to see this.
All
I'm
right,
here
we
for
back.
it.
Sorry
I
about
got a
that.
lot to say.
Woo.
I'm gonna be
Had
like
some,
those
quick little
outliers. I'm gonna be
technical
like those
difficulties.
outliers and give my 2
computers.
cents.
You know how they like to act crazy.
What?
Where'd Brittany go? She gone?
I'm
Jesus.
right here.
Well, all right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you, ladies. We appreciate y'all so much.
Good night,
Ladies and
y'all.
gentlemen, you've been listening to Dating University. You can follow us on everything and everywhere. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts from. We are there. This episode will be live tomorrow. So, yes, take your time and enjoy our content. Please like, share, comment. If you feel so inclined to, hit us up and tell us a story. Give us a show idea. Buy some merch. It is what it is. We love y'all so much. Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Good night.